there's a trend going on right now where people are using quilting methods for their scrapbooking. So a quilt pattern, right? Well, my mom actually designs fabric and she quilts and all that kind of stuff. And I asked her the other day what her favorite quilt pattern was. And she said a star. So quilting star is her favorite. And that's saying a lot because she's been doing this for her career for like over 20 years. Like she's been around the block and she's quilted a lot and she's designed a lot of fabric. Her style has definitely changed from when she started to now. It's way more artsy, and I wish she would just make some scrapbook paper because our community would just absolutely love her style. Anywho, if you want to check her out and you're a sewer or quilter or multi-crafter, her designs are Sue Pen Designs. So definitely check her out if that's something you'd be interested in. She is a very crafty lady, very inspiring. Oh, I just love my mom. But anyway, I have not quilted. I've never made a quilt. I have sewed. I have a sewing machine. And our task for today for Tool Time Tuesdays is to use a sewing machine. So what better excuse to use than to combine my Bashelor number 5 challenge, where I was supposed to make a background out of a quilt pattern for my scraps, and use a sewing machine. So that's what I did. I started here though. I knew that I needed to figure out how I can make this quilt star land on a layout and make sense, right? So I started with a grid. This is actually just a piece of paper from the Creative Memories Serene Waters beautiful collection that I just got in the mail. But I just used the back of that to map out a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I started with a 1-inch grid and I figured, okay, that could be my middle star. And then I realized that I wanted smaller stars surrounding my bigger star because I was inspired by this star system quilt. Really like it. I wish I could figure out how to get this even smaller scale so I could make even the bigger triangles. I don't know. I think this is just a really cool quilt. If I were to make a quilt, which I'm never going to do, this would be the quilt I make. But this has taught me that I don't like quilting. I'm sorry, Mom. This layout, just the background alone took a long time, like 6 hours, just the background. Okay, like I haven't added photos or journaling or stickers, like nothing else, just the background. And I used my kit from True Stories by Shamel, and I pulled the solid pieces of cardstock that I added to my collection and the pieces that are in the collection to make my quilt, well, my layout. So I do want to give you the measurements. This block here is 2 by 2. This block here is 1 inch. And so you would need to do 1, 2, 3 2-inch blocks and 2 2-inch blocks in order to make this work. Okay. So I cut a whole bunch of blocks, and then I used my Fiskars guillotine trimmer to cut them in half. And I will say, I think a guillotine trimmer over a typical trimmer will work better because you can line those edges up quicker. So just cutting the blocks and everything took me a long time. Long time. A quilt is not a one-day project, and I really like one-day projects, so that's why I probably will never quilt. Because it's not a one-day project. So this is my finished layout. Well, my finished background at least, right? So I put all of my pieces together with some ATG, and then I went around and I glued down the corners as best I can, or at least the ones that I thought were flapping in the wind, right? Then I took my sewing machine and I sewed on the edge of every single star. I think this turned out really cool. Okay, so that is my layout. And then I added these corner blocks. Now this is a 4-inch square cut in the diagonal, 2 of them. So 4-inch square, 4-inch square, right? And then I also went around the border with my sewing machine. So there is a lot of texture here with the stitching. When I was done stitching, what you do is you go on the back and you pull the thread so that you can get a loop to appear, and then you can use your pokey tool to grab that loop and pull it through. So, for example, this is a pulled through gray from this corner. So then you don't have 2 ends, an end on this side and an end on the other side of your layout. My plan for this, once we're all said and done and I've got everything on my layout, is I'm going to just adhere a scrap piece of paper to the back of this layout so it protects these strings. Because right now I did backstitch onto each end, so in theory it should stay, but I don't trust that. If I need to move this layout around in my album, I don't want it to catch on these strings and then totally ruin my 6 hours of work. Just this background turned out to be 6 hours. Whew, that's a lot. So I chose gray because the gray is in this pattern paper. The gray doesn't match, not a big deal, but I didn't want white. I felt like white really would be transparent in the fact that this is not a full quilt, because I didn't do all of the lines that would be in the quilt. Kind of like in here. All right. So I think this turned out amazing. I'm really proud of it. So now I need to actually use it for scrapbook layout, right? And I figured what a great way to honor my mom and the gift that she gave me. So she gave me a Sverna Viking sewing machine. And this is the exact sewing machine I made this layout on. And she even gave me all of these extra little plates. So before I even started stitching on my layout, I just played around for a little bit. So I took some yellow cardstock and I just played. And these cards here actually make these different patterns. So you can see here there's a star and a line and a heart and a line, and then you can crisscross, and then that one, and you got hearts, and you got this guy. So in the and even like there's a bow right here and a candy. Some things like this heart will be really hard on your paper. So this is barely even on my paper anymore, right? Like I was able to stick my finger through it. So something like this might be a little bit trickier when it's on paper, but on sewing, isn't that really cool? So I may do this in the future, but not something as complicated as this. With this, you know, it'll be like a little strip across my layout or something. So that's really cool. The other thing, my thought process with this was I was going to make this actually look like a quilt. And one of the finishing things that you do on a quilt is actually quilt, which doesn't make sense to my brain. But you add a pattern to the top of your quilt with your 3 layers, your top, your batting, and then the back, so that they can adhere. And you add this pattern. So I watched a YouTube video thinking I was the coolest thing ever, and this lady said, okay, just make C's. Just go around and make C's on your layout. Thank God I did not do that. I did not start doing that on this layout because I was already done with this part and I started doing this quilting practice, and Look at how bad that looks. She said just start making C's. And so I started making C's, and no. No. Doesn't look right. Now this doesn't look like a quilt because you wouldn't see these seams for the fabric because you fold that over and it's not seen. You would actually just see the quilting, which is the pattern. However, that just looked horrible. I figured I'm not ever going to do that on a real quilt. I will hire somebody else to do it. Because wow, that was bad. I can do straight lines. That's really all you need to do when you're trying to sew. So I printed this off. This picture is from online. I don't know, from Google. I think it's actually from the Viking manufacturer. So that's kind of neat. It kind of tells you all the bells and whistles that you get with your sewing machine, and that's exactly what I have. So I thought I would go ahead and do a blessed layout. So let's see here. I don't really want to cover up much of my star. This definitely looks like the right direction to go. Let me rotate. I guess it's omnidirectional or whatever. So that's cute. Or maybe I just do straight in the middle. Don't really want to cover up that much of a star. Here. There we go. Okay. I'm noticing I ended up having to use 2 triangles, and that line is very obvious to me for some reason. So maybe I just do something like this. Blessed. And then I can add my photo down here. Why not? I spent a lot of time on this, so I don't want to cover up too much, right? Okay. So there's that. Like in center. And then I am doing the bash bowl this time around. So I need to do stickers, twine, which I'm counting as the sewing. If it doesn't count, that's okay. I'll just lose a point. Bling, stars, and wood. I'm counting these as my stars. So I have some bling here, enamel dots. I've got my wood veneer. Got lots and lots of wood veneer. Got some more enamel dots, some more wood veneer, and my stickers. It just so happened that this sticker sheet like matches this collection really well, and I'm very thankful of it. So I think it would be fun to just kind of add. I've spent so much time on this layout. I just need to stick stuff down at this point. It just needs to be done. So that. I also did use my T-square ruler to try to line stuff up as much as possible, but I'm not perfect, and sewing's not perfect, so it is what it is, as my husband would say. Kind of fun to line it up right there. It is what it is. And he will tell you that is his catchphrase too, just so you know. Cute. Okay, so then I'm going to add my wood veneer as this. And honestly, this is how you make layouts, or you make quick layouts. Quickish. Is you just decide. You make a decision and you stick with it, right? So we are going to be doing that together. Okay, so this is all about sewing. I do want to grab these scissors because I think they're cute. And, oh, perfect. It's going to land like right there. I'm telling you, these colors, I cannot believe. I am pleasantly surprised that these are going to work. Kind kind of want that up there. Let's do that. Okay. And it's not yarn. Oh, look at, there's a ruler down here. I wonder if I can. No. It's not working for me. Okay. So then we've got these. This is cute. Okay. This is fun. This is fun. I like this push pin. Okay, we're going in a diagonal design here. That's how it's gonna be today. And then, let's see. Got some of this. Can put up there. There's some pink. Look at that, pink and pink match perfectly. I'm not gonna add that second sewing machine because I really wanted that dark blue one. Oh man, this is like amazing. I really like this sticker because that is exactly what I picture when I'm talking sewing. Like, yeah. There's not, they have a scrap here, but they don't really focus on the scrapping. I don't know. It's like they try to add a nod to it, and I don't think it really worked. Oh, okay. So while I was doing this layout, I ran out of my bobbin twice. That's perfect. Okay. And then we got some buttons. That'd be cute. Add those right there. Maybe add one right here. Well, let's see. Okay, I've got that color up there now. What other things? I have a couple more buttons. Got some safety pins. Really like that. That's really pretty. Let's put this one on the side. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got my... We're just gonna make some quick decisions here, right? Sorry if it's kind of a whirlwind, but that's how you gotta do it sometimes. Oh, what if I just surround it by these cute things? And then I can add some buttons and add some buttons. I did try the button on my, there was a button on my machine last night, and I realized it was to actually adhere the button because it was just going back and forth for the whole button. Yeah, it was a good moment that I got to chuckle at myself. Okay, that actually looks really good. Okay, so let's see. I really like these. I don't know why. I have no idea. I just really like these. So I thought it'd be fun to add some wood veneer. Oh, perfect, right there. That looks good. Okay, and then this looks good right there. So we're kind of pointing in towards the layout. Love it. And then I have some enamel dots here. Oh, okay, hang on. We got stickers, those are done. Got twine done. Bling. Okay, bling. Let's add the wood veneer here first. Now you could totally color, excuse me, these wood veneer, but I kind of like the undone look, I guess. That's what I'm like. I like the raw wood. Brings in some of that brown into other textures on the layout. Which always is good to add texture. Okay, the color I do not have down here is the dark blue. So I'm going to add some dark blue. So let's do the big one. Might as well. Got a big dot. Oh, I don't want to, well, it's okay. There's that. And I need some turquoise in my life. Okay, and then some, what other color do I need in my life? What about this gray? Yeah, let's do that gray. We'll add it over here this time. Okay. Then we need some dark blue up here in my life. Let's do a little bit here. And a little bit here. Uh-oh, lost one. And I guess we're using this pink one too. Well, pink, red. Kind of want them in a line here. Pink, red, gray. Just add those in like that. Cool, cool, cool. Perfect. I don't want that red. Oh well, it's stuck. Now I'm going to add a couple blings up here. We need some turquoise. We need a big turquoise. And a red. And a light blue. Ooh, I have light blue. Because I have light blue down here. I got to add it to up there, right? And I got a light blue there, so that's good. Light blue. Let's put it... Let's just put it in a cluster together. Perfect. So, I should, in theory, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different points on this. Now I could add a stencil, but I really don't want to. Journaling. Oh my goodness, why do I always forget the journaling? I like this linear that's going on here. That, my friends, is my layout today. I hope you got some inspiration on doing a quilt background and sewing on your layout. Don't forget to check out everybody who's playing along with the Tool Time Tuesdays. Every Tuesday in the month, there's a different crafter doing it. I'm always the third crafter, third Tuesday of the month, because I wanted the third Tool Time Tuesday with the alliteration in there. But anywho, I hope you really liked this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.